And you know, it's like this, wherever we go, it's like this. There's going to be change, but real change, not Obama change. You remember the famous Obama change? So, who saw the debate last night? And, great book. And who won the debate? Yeah, we did well, everybody. I mean, I think there were a few people that really did well last night. And we were given good credit. It's hard to get credit from the press. You know, when you get credit from the press, you know you really did well. Because boy, do they not want to do it. I think more importantly, we won every online poll. We won Drudge, Time Magazine, every week, every time we had it. So we won CNBC. You know, they did a poll during the show. And it kept saying Trump 50, 51, 59, 52. The other one 6, 5, 9. I just saw that this morning. I'm watching and say, what is that? That's the poll as you're going along. And it kept going higher and higher. I said, we should have gone longer and longer. But we've really had an amazing period of time because, and I have to tell you that, and we're going to do some questions and answers later because I have all day. I mean, we'll just do it. But, so we'll do that. Think of some good questions, some really vicious, violent, crazy questions, okay? Look at all these people. That was Bill O'Reilly. We did O'Reilly. We're on tonight, so that'll go on in a little while. But so you go home, you watch O'Reilly, you'll OD on Trump today. That's enough, right? That's too much Trump. That's too much. That's why, you know, I said it's true. I'm going to spend whatever it takes. I have more money than anybody else, right? So it's... I hear one guy has $10 million in the bank, one guy has $4. You know how much they spend to get $10 million in the bank? I heard the other day. No, they'll spend like $8. Yeah, that's right. Who said $8? Somebody, you know what I'm talking about, right? No, they'll spend like 79 cents on the dollar. I say, what do you mean? But the report is that they have like all this money, but they spend so much money to get the money, so they'll end up in some cases with 20 cents left. This is going to run our country. Tell me. You know, I take small contributions to people where they give, like, I always say to the woman I read, I mean, it was a lengthy letter. She gave $7.50. But, they take $50, $100, $200. And frankly, I love that only in the sense that I feel invested in what we're all doing. But there's no PACs. Where people set up PACs in my name. They used the name of the book for one of the PACs. I don't know who the people are. And we sent legal notices to every PAC. I think they had 9 or 11. They were all over the place. Everybody's forming a PAC. Some of them probably had good intentions. They're going to fight for Trump. And I like that, but, you just don't know. And some of them had good intentions. You know what it was? Their wallet. That's what the good intentions are. You can imagine. So we wrote a very strong legal letter, and I felt badly because honestly, let's say of the 9 or 11 or whatever there were, there are probably some in there that were really going to go to town. And you're telling them, we don't want your help, please give your money back. They don't even have to do that. I don't know what they do. They'll probably use it for another candidate. They'll make a deal. That's probably what they do. But it's really bad. These super PACs are really, really bad. And they're really controlling the system right now. And, you're supposed to not have involvement in them, and you see what's going on with them, and you see all of the money that's being spent, and the millions, like Jeb has $100 and some odd $1 million. Now, I don't know if that's after all of his expense. Who knows? But Jeb has a lot of money in there, and Rubio has a lot of money, and Ben Carson has a lot of money in the super PACs. And, and I say, they're no good. They're really going to hurt our political system, and something has to be done. And actually, last night I called it, but people found other things more exciting, like the fight last night, where I hit Kasich. They'd rather have that than when I said no. And remember what I said about Jeb, and remember what I said about Rubio. Okay, everyone said, "Oh no, you're wrong, Mr. Trump." I get no credit for this stuff. I said they don't like each other. I said it, and, people forget. So, 2 months ago, I make a speech. Everyone says, oh, Mr. Trump, they're really like it. So Jeb is the governor, and the other guy's the young guy. And in all fairness, Jeb was the mentor. And I'm not knocking either one. I mean, when I say this, what I said, they don't like each other. And everyone said you're wrong. And they all said that Rubio would never, ever run because it would be disrespectful to the guy that was his mentor. And I understand that. You know, there's a loyalty thing. We know what loyalty is, right? But there is a loyalty. And so everyone said they weren't going to, run and this and that. Well, all of a sudden, Rubio announced maybe he will, maybe he won't, but he announced he will. And people thought, and Jeb said, they interviewed Jeb, he said, no, I'm not upset. He said, dear, dear friend. I said, oh, please do that. Because you can imagine what he told his father. Oh, you can imagine, or his brother. Dear, dear friend. It doesn't work that way, folks. But that's political speak. And then Rubio said the same thing. But last night, the heat came out. And I even said, I don't know, I told you, I announced that, I told you, a lot of anger, a lot of hatred between those two. But I love to pick it because it's life. It's like the way the system works, it's just life. But what I wanted to mention before we do a little bit, I'm going to go a little bit, and then I'm really wanting to go with the question and answer because I love it. I meet so many people, it's true, and I get so many great ideas from doing it. And I love it. Ask me anything. What the hell difference? A lot of guys, they're all canned. They have lobbyists, and the lobbyists control them, usually through the super PACs, and they have donors, and they have special, and they're totally controlled. Not all of them, maybe 99%, okay? But they're totally controlled. But they have people that totally, the pollsters, right? And these pollsters are tough people. They're smart. They make hundreds of thousands. Some make hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. And they do polls all the time. I said, what do you need polls for when every week, these guys, look at all those cameras in the back. They do polls like every week. They spend millions on polls. I said, why would you spend money on polls when you can get them for free from CNN, from Fox, from MSNBC? They come, no, it's true. I mean, I learned things about me. I haven't spent 10 cents on a pollster, and I've learned things about me that I never knew. So, and we're doing great. Like the evangelicals, we're doing really great nationwide. We're doing great. In Nevada, I won with Hispanics. Right? Number one with Hispanics. And I said that. It's funny. Immigration, it's an amazing thing. I'm number one with Hispanics because I'm going to create jobs. People want that. We're going to have jobs. We're going to take them away from China, from Japan, from all over. And we're going to have a very, very special. Look, we're in. Some people would say life support. We owe $19 trillion. 19 trillion. What do you do? 19 trillion. And, they just did a budget the other day. They're going to borrow another couple of $1 billion. So it's going to go up to $20 trillion. And you just say, why? Why is this happening? And do you ever notice they always get, and I'm now talking about the Republicans, they're incensed a week before they have the debt ceiling coming, all right? They're always incensed. They don't do anything for a year and a half, 2 years. And then a week before they start talking about it. Oh, we're not going to, you can't do it that quickly. You got to do it earlier. Like the day it was done the last time, they should have started working on it. So all of a sudden you hear the debt ceiling's coming up next week. By the way, it's so sad because we could have so many great victories in Washington, and we just don't. So now we have a new man, Paul Ryan. I hope it's going to work out. He's a nice person, I can tell you. He's a nice person. And people agreed. And look, I think he's got tremendous potential. He's got to strengthen up on the illegal immigration, I'll be honest with you. He's been weak on that, very weak. But he's a good man, and he was consensus, and that's important because the Republicans, I mean, it's not only they don't get along with the Democrats, but they got to get along with themselves also. They got to go unified. And I've said, and Boehner, I always liked him personally, but I said, you got to be a little different with your negotiation. He said, well, 2 weeks ago, when they were talking about trying to get some things from Obama and the Democrats, he announced, we will not close up the government. Well, that's fine to announce, but you just gave up your entire negotiating position, right? Even if you're not going to do it, because it's a severe move. But even if you're not, he has The Art of the Deal. Give me that book. Give me that book. Come here. Look at this. What a great book. One of the great books. Way behind. I always say, way behind the Bible, but still a good book. The Bible's number one. Okay, I'm going to sign this for this guy. Yeah. Good. He's an athlete. So, well, that's a good book too, Surviving at the Top. How about where I said that Osama bin Laden is coming to get us 3 years before it happened? Okay? So I was watching Morning Joe, good program, good guy, Joe Scarborough, and they said, yeah, Trump said this and that. You know, we were talking about Trump and military, because there's nobody that will be tougher and stronger and better with the military than me. And somebody was on the show that they didn't even like me. They said, you know, Trump wrote, there it is, right? Look at that book. There it is. But they said, Trump said they're going to come back. This is, remember, the first hit on the World Trade Center, where it was a bad hit, but it wasn't, obviously, it wasn't the one that happened, the ultimate. And there was a lot of stuff about a guy named Osama bin Laden, who was a terrorist, who was really raising his hand pretty loudly all over the place, talking about how he's going to come. And I mentioned him in the book. And I said, you better put this guy away, essentially, because he's coming to get us. You better do something. And you better be smart, and you better be tough. And, you know, who knew this was going to happen? But I remember Joe Scarborough, he looked, and they had read the paragraphs that they're going to come, and they're going to do this. I said exactly what was going to happen. I'm good at this stuff. And I mentioned the name Osama bin Laden. And I actually mentioned his name because I saw his name. He was like, so Joe goes, whoa, when was this written? It was written a couple of years before the World Trade Center. And we can be tough and we can be smart. Like Iraq, we spend $2 trillion, thousands of deaths, thousands of lives. And you could say on both sides, in all fairness, okay? Thousands and thousands. We lost 5,000 more. They don't even know. Thousands of lives. Wounded warriors who are the greatest. I love. Wounded warriors. All over. So we have $2 trillion, the wounded warriors. We have thousands of lives lost. We have nothing. What do we have? Nothing. Iran is taking over Iraq. And we just gave them $150 billion to do it. No, think of it. Where do they make these deals? That's why, look, you know, I may be a lot of things, but I really know how. I'm a good deal guy. This would never happen. No, I mean, hey, Carl Icahn just announced he's supporting me. You know, Carl, a great businessman, great business leader, very smart, made fortunes, billions and billions. And he just endorsed Donald Trump out of the blue. But others too. And because he knows there's no games. We're not playing games. This guy, we have Kerry negotiating a deal, $150 billion we gave him. We don't get our prisoners back. Now they want to start a new negotiation. Listen to this one. For the prisoners. Did you hear this? The deal is done. They got their money, or they're getting it very soon. Oh, I wish there was some legal way. I wish this election could take place tomorrow. There's no way. I don't care what they agreed to. I guarantee that contract somewhere along the line, as incompetent as they are, because I've inherited a lot of bad contracts over the years. You know, where I buy a company cheap because the poor guy didn't know what he was doing and he made a bad deal. So you buy it cheap. You throw it into a chapter, you beat up everybody, and you have a nice little asset, right? You know, you do it. I do it professionally. But there's always a clause. Like a lot of times you'll see this horrible, and you'll be reading, oh no, this is terrible. This is worse than I thought. You know, you take it. A friend of mine, he's a great guy, but not a great business guy. So he signs this horrible, yes, but I'm reading his contract. I love doing it. Can you believe this is my entertainment? Can you believe it? Other people do other things, but I like doing it. I like reading contracts. I'm reading, and all of a sudden, bingo, I see this clause. I say, you know, do you know you have the, no. And I help him, and I made some deal for him. He'll never forget me. Of course, he probably will. You know, people forget. They forget. But it was bingo. So as bad as these things are, and as bad as, let's say, that guy, there's always something. There's always something. and I'll find it. Oh, will I find it? Now, the other day, they said, hey, we'll start negotiating now for the prisoners. They have 4. They used to have 3, now they have 4. But they're only going to negotiate for 3. But they want 19 people that are here. Think of it. And what else? Many other things. In other words, they're starting off. Does it make you sick? It's just, every time I use this because how many things can you relate to that are so simple? One of the things that's very interesting, and one of the reasons I actually like taking questions and answers, because you have things that are bad in the country. But you have, let's say, 10, 12, 13. You make them in a speech, you can talk about all of them. Then if you make the same speech, they'll say, oh, gee, you talk about this. Well, how many things are there? You're going to talk about all of them. We can talk about immigration, illegal immigration. We can talk about IRS. IRS is right. He says IRS and I say ISIS. Maybe it's the same thing. I thought that's interesting. Who said that? That's very interesting. But no, I mean, you talk about ISIS, you talk about the problems, you talk about Obamacare, which is going to be repealed and replaced. Obamacare is turning out so badly that in 17 it looks like they're going to have to go back to Congress and rewrite the whole thing. It's a disaster. And you people know it. The premiums are up 35, 45, 55%. The deductibles, you're not even getting anything because the deductibles are so high, you have to die. And who knows if it covers you if you're dead? I'm not sure. Do you get covered if you're dead? No, the deductibles are so high that I don't know. I mean, I don't know. So what happens is I talk about this, Aranda, because as a person that has had tremendous success, and I had, don't forget, they said, he'll never run, right? I've told this story. I love this story. He'll never run, the pundits. Oh, do they hate me? He'll never run. He'll never sign Certificate A. That's a one-page where you basically sign your life away. I signed it. Then I made the announcement. Then they said, oh, he'll never sign his financials. Well, I put them in almost 100 pages long. I think the longest ever put in was like 2 pages. Mine are like 100. I think it's 500, almost 500 companies. Tremendous success. So they said, oh, maybe he's not as successful as people think. I'm much more successful. In fact, I tell the story. Honestly, I wasn't sure until the last moment, because it takes guts to run. It really does. It's not that easy. And it takes guts to run. And it does. It does. It takes guts. And I didn't know. I went right to the end. And, the famous escalator scene with Melania coming down with me waving and everything. I took a deep breath. I went like this. Okay, baby, let's go. And I announced, and I brought up the subject of illegal immigration, and boy, did I take incoming, as Rush would say. I took incoming, and then it turned out I was right. But I just gone back, so on the financials, I didn't know till the very last moment. Because again, not an easy decision to make in terms of yourself, your family, your life. It's different. I mean, it's different. Here I am, you expose yourself like that on television, you're fully like with all these guys, and some you respect, some you have no respect for. And you have to say, you do respect them, No, some I don't, but we're supposed to support them if they win, though, the pledge. But some I do have great respect for. Some of the people on the stage I do. But I did these financials, and they were phenomenal. And I tell you what, and so it showed I was much bigger, much stronger, much wealthier. I built not only great assets, very liquid, very little debt, tremendous cash flow. The reason I say it is because that's the kind of thinking we need in the country. That's what it is. Such dumb people, such dumb deal. It's the thinking. I mean, it's a lot of the people in the audience, and maybe in a smaller way, you have that same thinking. You can't believe the stuff that you're seeing. Sergeant Bergdahl, 5 for 1. We get Bergdahl. No, we get Bergdahl. We get Bergdahl. They get 5 killers that they've wanted for 9 years. And they get 5 killers that are right now back on the battlefield, killing everybody. And believe me, they'd love to be here. They'd love to be right here. So we can't go on like this. And I said it to my wife, I said it to Ivanka, I said it to all my kids. I said, we got to do it. I mean, I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. Who knows? I've never done it before. But it's like I told Bill O'Reilly, Bill, I've been dealing with politicians all my life. All my deals go through politicians. I need zoning, I need this, I need that, I need taxes, I need tax abatements, I need all sorts of things. I get them. And I've always gotten them. I've done great with politicians. I deal with politicians. I deal with prime ministers from other countries because I always go in for the glamour deals, the big deals. They always want to meet me. So I have dinner with the prime ministers. But I get along with people. I get along with Democrats. You know, one of the big knocks on me? Well, he got along with people that are Democrat. Well, that's what we have to do. We got to get along, folks. You know, it's time. Washington is in gridlock. They can't do anything. And you know, when I was growing up, when I was younger, because I started young, and my father was great. I had a great father. In fact, I'm doing a book that's coming out in a couple of weeks. It's going to be great. And it's a very nasty title. I won't even tell you. It's such a nasty title. And you know what? It's a nasty picture. The photographer, Simon & Schuster, big company, they came to me, we'd love to have a book. I said, I don't want to do a book. I've done, 12 or something? I said, I'm in the middle of a campaign. They said, we'll pay you a lot of money. I said, how much? They said, it's true. I give it to charity anyway, so I'm going to give it to charity. But you know what? So you feel guilty, you know. So I work very hard, and I'm doing this, I'm doing books, I'm running things. The good thing is my children are very capable. They're running. No, it's good. It's good. They're good, and I have great executives. So what happens is, I want you to read this because we talk about our country and we talk about the problems. And it's called, actually, Crippled America. And the nastiest picture you've ever seen. So they had this Simon & Schuster, they sent this great photographer, world-class photographer in my office. He took, and I told this, he took the most beautiful pictures you've ever seen. I never knew I was that handsome, to be honest. This guy is a master. He took the most beautiful pictures, smiling, happy, beautiful. And one he took when I wasn't ready, and it's the worst picture. It's mean and horrible. And the people came, they said, Mr. Trump, sir, this is really the picture we should use. You can't be talking about what you're talking about with a big smiling face. And wait till you see this picture. You're not going to believe it. It's nasty. So, I think it's going to be great. I mean, it's the hardest I've worked on a book since The Art of the Deal. It actually is. And it was condensed. But it's the hardest I've worked on a book. So let's see. But we talk about a lot of the problems that we have. But we're going to do something that's going to be so special. We're going to take this country, and if I win, and it is if, everyone always shouts, when? It's always going to be, look, I'm competing against all these people. Who the hell knows? You have a lot of crooked people in the press. For instance, I'll give you an example. Last week, I'll give you an example how crooked they are. Last night, I'll go to last night. Last night, we won every single poll. Who won the debate? Now, I think Cruz did well. I do. I think Rubio did well, although I think Rubio had a lot of hard questions because, frankly, those are tough questions. Gave good answers, but I don't like the questions, so they're a little tough. But does everybody understand that? Yeah, I think you understand that. They're tough. But I did think he did well in terms of answering. I think that a couple of others, I really appreciated Mike Huckabee for, sticking up for me. He's a good man. He's a good man. He's a good person. He even showed my tie. He was really great. He's a great guy. But no, it was nice because somebody else could have said, what? I'll be the best president. He didn't say that. He said, don't you dare. Essentially, don't you dare say that about Donald Trump. He'd be a great president. Honestly, folks, there aren't a lot of people that would do that. He had a perfect opportunity just to talk about himself, and he didn't do that. So he's a special guy. He's a very good guy. So we're going to do something that's going to be so unique. But last night, all of the polls, every single one of them said I won. And yet the pundits, they weren't bad, but they could have been much better, believe me. They could have been. Some were good. But every poll, even the CNBC poll, every poll said, and these are polls, somebody said, oh, they're online. Well, I'm not dialing in. Hundreds of thousands. Drudge is great, and Drudge is a legit person. He's a great person. And he's a straight shooter. They have the Drudge poll. They have, what the hell was that? Sounded like a duck, man. But no, they had Drudge, and they have Time Inc. I mean, you know, Time Inc. is, even though I was on the cover 4 weeks ago, so maybe it's a conflict of interest. I don't know. But they had Time, they had many, many polls, and they had CNBC did their poll. All right? And you could see that they don't like me very much, okay? And we won every one of them. And the pundits were, some were really nice, and some were trying to be as bad as they could possibly be. You know, as they also know the subject matter. They can't say you lost, but they said, well, Trump was a little off his game. I was? No, it's so unfair. You know, especially when you get 60, 70%. When you get 70% in an online poll, and you have 15 people up there, right? You have 15 because you have the previous debate. But you have 15 people up there, and you get 70%, that's impossible. If you got 70% and you had 2 people, it's like, we'll take that all the time, right, folks? So that was, but I'll tell you one of the most disgusting things. You have a group called Politico. It's a small deal. So dishonest. They are the worst people. They are the most dishonest. No, they're just dishonest. And you have others. You know, you have Huffington Post that puts us in the entertainment section, and now they don't know what to do. Yeah, but I sort of like Bill Maher, I must be honest. I do. I like him. Do you like Bill Maher? I don't agree with him, but you can like him. Do you like Bill Maher? Huh? I don't think he likes me too much, I will say that. No, but you have all of these different groups, and the most amazing thing is it comes out, and no matter how it comes out with hatred. You see the level of hatred on the other side. And I think, I've made a lot of speeches like this. I always have rooms like this packed. They're packed. And you people didn't have much time, right? You didn't have much time. But last week in Iowa, so I had a negative poll in Iowa. And it was the first time, no way. It can happen. Because for 100 days, there were even 100 days, I led every single poll. And I was surprised at Iowa because I have amazing relationship with the evangelicals, with the Tea Party, with, you know, all the people. And for some reason, I had a couple of negative polls come out in Iowa. And I was surprised, actually. And then we had a poll come out, a really good one. The ABC Washington Post came out on Friday. And it was a very, very expensive good poll. And practically nobody reported. I was killing everybody, right? And then they had another couple come out. They had the Gravis poll come out. I think I was 38 or, I like killing everybody. They had all these, and nobody mentions it. And then it happened. I had a CBS poll. I think they talked like to 300-400 people. And I was a little below Carson. It was the biggest story I've ever seen. It's true. It happened. It was bigger than anything. It was bigger than Benghazi with Hillary. It was the biggest. It happened. They were so happy. They have gone crazy between Iowa and... So I'm in Iowa. I had just gotten this negative poll. I have a group as big as this, at least. And it's a love fest. It's a total love fest. Now, I'm a negotiator, right? So that's what I do. The last thing I am is a beggar, okay? So I go to Iowa, and we are having fun. It was the best speech I've made. And in fact, the Des Moines Register that hates me gave my speech a great review. It said, unbelievable. Honestly, the Des Moines Register hates me. It's a liberal paper in Iowa. I'm going to start to like it, I think. I couldn't believe the story was good. And I had some other good stories. But then I had these dopes from Politico. They're dopes. They're third-rate people. It's losing a lot of money, I hear. It's probably going to be out of business soon. But, you know, they do this stuff. And they don't care. The truth means nothing. And then I had a couple of others. And even one of the networks that I was very disappointed in. So I do this speech, and here's what it is. Thousands of people. I had just gotten a little negative word. And I go to the people, I say, come on, folks, let's get with it. You don't want... When was the last time you won a primary? You haven't done it. We got to do it. We're going to do it. Let's get with it, folks, or I'm never coming back to... In other words, we're having fun. I'm being sarcastic. I'm being funny. Everybody was laughing. They're high-fiving. The whole room. Come on, baby. You can support Trump. Let's go. Okay, so here's what happens. No, I don't need it. By the way, no. I don't need it. Watch. What are these scum back there? That's what they are. Watch. watch. You have no idea. Folks, you have no idea how bad they are. You have no idea. You have no idea how dishonest some of the reporters are that work for, that work for CNN, that work, frankly, for NBC. You have no idea how dishonest some of these people are. Like I saw one the other day. We had a packed house. It's always packed. We had a packed house, and the report's being done as everybody is leaving. And they look, the room's empty. In other words, when we're finished, you guys are going to leave. I don't want to have a reporter doing a report with the empty room, okay? I don't want it. So anyway, so I'm having fun in Iowa, and I think I'm going to win Iowa, but who knows? Look, who knows, right? Maybe you don't win it, who knows? But I love the people in Iowa, and I relate to the people, and they relate to me, and I have by far the biggest crowds. So I'm talking about we're having fun, we're laughing, and I'm screaming, you got to get with it, you got to get to Trump. Okay, all, laughter, sarcasm, and here's the headline. Trump begs Iowa for their vote. No, and it's just not me. And I even saw Newt Gingrich. I love Newt. He's a good guy. He's a good guy. But I watched him he was on a Fox show today. He said Trump did great in the debate. Trump's great. Trump's really smart. He actually said he's the smartest guy since Clinton. I said, you couldn't do better than that? He couldn't have it. He actually did. He said, great thing. But he said one thing because he reads the paper. He said, the only thing I disagreed with was when he went to Iowa and begged. Can you imagine going to a room and begging? Can you imagine? Now, it wasn't everybody, but there were 15% of the stories like that. And I think it's just so, most of them were good. I'm telling you, Des Moines Register was a great story. I couldn't believe it. I would have thought they would have done the other. So dishonest. But here's the thing. Places like Politico, they're third rate, and they don't make money, or they make very little. I hear they're going out. I hear they're just dying. They tend to die because they tend to die. And it's not only them, it's others. But the level of dishonesty with the press. So here's the thing, I make the speech, and I actually think, I said last week, I actually think it was one of the best speeches I made, because I went in, just got my only bad poll in 100 days. So I went in, come on, folks, let's go, let's get with it. I'll never come back again. If you don't vote for me, you better vote for me. We're all laughing. Trump begs. And they knew that was a phony deal. Everybody knew. All you have to do is look at the tapes. All you have to do is read the stories, even the stories from Henry. So you have tremendous dishonesty with the press. And therefore, when I have all these big crowds and everything else, you can't really, like I said to Bill O'Reilly just now, we have a tremendous crowd. I said, nobody gets bigger crowds than me. He goes, and he's a good guy. He's a good guy. He goes, well, that's not really fair. You're a celebrity, so you'll get big. I said, what does that have to do with celebrity? I don't think you're here because I think you're here because I have a view that we're not going to be taken advantage of anymore, right? We're just not going to be taken advantage of it. We can't take it. You can't take it. And honestly, if I was a celebrity, if I were a celebrity without a guitar, a friend of mine, one of the biggest entertainers, said, you get the biggest crowds in the world without a guitar, which is a pretty good, meaning without music. Because the music guys get a lot of people, but we get a lot of people. But Bill just said, and I was a little disappointed with that statement, because it's not about being a celebrity. I don't think it's about having a view that's captivating the people in this country because they're tired of being taken advantage of. They're tired of being stupid. They're tired of having their leaders be out-negotiated on every single deal. They're tired of it. They're tired of having China rip us off on every trade deal, and Japan and Mexico and everybody else. They're tired of it. And I think if I were a celebrity, and if I walked and we're talking about, isn't it a wonderful day? Isn't the weather nice? Beautiful out, isn't it? And do you ever hear of and I'll tell you, look, I deal with everybody all over the world. Chinese are very tough negotiators. The Iranians, the Persians, very tough negotiators. Oh, did you hear the new one? So they say it was our president that requested, because Iran decided now that they're going to get involved with Syria, right? You believe this? And why not? They got our money. And they don't have to develop nuclear. They can buy it. They have so much. What do they have to develop it for? Cheaper to buy it. So, according to what I heard, which is probably true, we got out-negotiated in the Iran deal, and President Obama requested that the chief negotiator for the Iran deal, who's a killer, I watched him on Charlie Rose being interviewed. After watching for 5 minutes, I said, Kerry cannot handle this guy. Can't handle him. The chief negotiator, our president, just asked that he get involved in talks having to do with us and Syria. So we're going to have more. We'll end up giving more and more. We're not going to have anything left, folks. We're not going to have anything left. I saw this. I said, can you imagine? You get fleeced by a guy who's a great negotiator. I'm not knocking Iran. If you can make a deal like that, I would have doubled up the sanctions, sat back. They would have, believe me, and I would have never given them, of the 150, I would have given them squat. They would have gotten nothing. What they're going to use, they're a terrorist organization. What they're going to use that $150 billion for is, you don't even want to think about it. You don't even want to think. The 24 days, how about the self-inspections, where they actually do their own self-inspection, right? They do their own self-inspection. How about that one? Is that one of the... So we don't get anything. So now we have him, they want him to get involved, the same guy that did, because you know why? We're comfortable with him. Because we're comfortable with losing. The country has become comfortable with losing. Now last night, it's right. I'm not comfortable with it, I'll tell you. Drives me nuts. That's why I'm doing this. Last night, I got the only applause. They said, your summation. They give you a big 30 seconds, right? It's hard to sum up. But I got a very large applause. Because I said, I negotiated. It was a 3-hour deal, and he said it wasn't. He's wrong. And we have it was always a 3-hour deal. And I said, who the hell wants to watch? Who's going to want to watch? I wasn't even, I could stand up for 30 hours and do this stuff. But I said, who is going to want to watch a 3-hour debate? Nobody. You couldn't watch Hillary for an hour and a half. No, you couldn't watch it. So I called up CNBC. I said, fellas. And I called Ben Carson. And we said, Ben, let's form a little deal here. If they don't have me, they don't have you. I don't think they can, not going to work so well. And by the way, and that's not to knock anybody else, but who needs to form a big deal? If I can do it with two, 2 is fine. They folded in about 15 seconds. We got rid of an hour. And they were getting $250,000 for a 30-second spot. They used to get like $1,000, $2,000. How much would they have gotten if I wasn't involved? You tell me. They would have gotten nothing. So I gave a quick summation. I said, we don't win anymore. And we got to make great trade deals and blah, blah, blah. And then I said, as an example, everybody said you cannot negotiate, it's non-negotiable, the 3 hours. I called up. I got it. And that's a big thing to get. 1 hour, and when you think of those 30-second commercials at that kind of money, 1 hour, that's a tremendous amount of money. And maybe that's why CNBC was so angry. Maybe that's why, if you think. Because they were pretty angry. I actually didn't mind it. I didn't mind. I expected it. A lot of the folks up there were very angry and very upset about the way CNBC behaved. But, what do you think? Yes? I didn't care. I've become immune to it. I tell you, honestly, I've seen things that are so bad with the press. I've seen things that I wasn't... I went out, yeah, they were bad. They were really asking questions that were bad, but what else is new? But some of the folks up there thought it was really unfair. And Reince Priebus, who's a good guy, head of RNC, he went wild yesterday because he thought it was very fair. And if you look at the Hillary debate, they were all softballs. Here, Hillary. Bing. Bing. All softballs. It wasn't the same thing. So, we're going to have a border. We're going to build a wall. Mexico is going to pay for the wall. We're not paying. Just like CNBC gave up that hour, a lot of money, Mexico is going to pay. And I love Mexico, by the way, and I love the Mexican people, and I love the Hispanics. I have thousands of Hispanics that work for me right now. Thousands. I gave a speech the other day in Miami, at Trump National Doral, right smack in the heart of Miami. And I said, this is going to be interesting. We had a big crowd like this, and I gave the speech. It was 80% Hispanic, 80%, maybe more. You have no idea. They put you people to shame in terms of enthusiasm. I'm telling you. No, I'm telling you. I'm telling you. They were so in love with the message of the border and the message of the wall because they're here illegally. They don't want to be overrun. They want to work. They want to do their job. These are incredible people. And we're going to let incredible people come into our country. We want people to come in, but they have to come in legally. They have to come in legally. And, you know, so many things. I mean, and this has nothing to do. Mexico is only one of many. They come from all over Asia. They come from all over. But do you know that if you want to become a citizen of Mexico, it's one of the hardest countries, maybe the hardest country in the whole world to become a citizen of. And do you know if you're in Mexico and you're supposed to be there for a week, friends of mine are there. They go to Mexico. I like Mexico. I like Mexico. They go to Mexico. They're there for a week. They get a knock at the door. When are you leaving? When? No, they just want to know, what's your time? You know, you're here. Are you going to extend? What's going on? By the way, they're doing the right thing. I'm not knocking. I'm saying they're doing the right thing. We don't do that because we're stupid. We're stupid people. We have stupid leaders. We don't do it. I mean, the anchor babies. You have a baby, you go, you're pregnant, you go, you have the baby on our soil. Congratulations, 85 years we're taking care of the person. In Mexico, you know what they said? That's terrible, terrible, the way the United States is handling that situation. Except in Mexico, if it happened, believe me, they don't have anchor babies in Mexico. There's no anchor babies. It's bye-bye. We got to change, or we're not going to be great anymore. We're going to, you know, I have an expression, and it's been used a lot over the years, you know, make America great again is my big expression. But there's another one. And so often, I like to use, I love expressions because it says it. The American dream is dead. You know that, right? The American dream is dead, but I'm going to make it bigger and better and stronger than ever before. Bigger and better and stronger. And we're going to. We're going to make the American dream bigger and better and stronger before. We're going to get rid of all these horrible regulations. We're going to open up. We're going to do business. We're going to have fun. We're going to create jobs. We're going to be taking jobs back from all over the world. You know, this whole thing with the dollar, I'll tell you what, the dollar, China, we owe them $1.5 trillion. Can you believe it? They kill us. They take our jobs, our money, our base, and we owe them money. We owe them $1.5 trillion. Now, how do you figure it? So here's what's happening. So we owe them all this money. We owe Japan with the cars, right? We owe Japan $1.4 trillion. Think of it. So they sell the cars, they do it, and we owe them money. We owe them money. It's a magic act. It's unbelievable. And we have negotiators better than any of their negotiators. And I'm going to use them because I have the greatest negotiators. I know them all. I know them all. And I always say, some of them are not nice people. Who cares? I mean, who cares? But we're going to bring this country back, and we're going to make it so special. It's special now. We love it, but it's troubled. It's seriously troubled. But we're going to make it so wonderful and so great. And you're going to be so proud. You're going to be so proud of our country because, like I said, in summing up, we don't have victories anymore. When was the last, think of it. When was the last time we had a victory? We lose on trade to everybody, any country. You know, I use China because that's the ultimate abuser. They abuse. I mean, with them, it's not even funny. They abuse us. And I love them. They're great people. They buy my apartments. I rent office space. They're fine. They're great. I wish our people would do it in reverse. But China, listen to this, almost $400 billion a year on a trade imbalance. 400 billion. It's been going on for years. It's going to end. It's going to end. And we'll keep doing business, but they've got to treat us fairly. They're not treating us fairly. You know, I'm a free trader. I believe in free trade. But I also believe in being intelligent. And I also believe in smart trade. How can we continue? I'll give you another example. Japan, $70 billion a year in balance. They sell us cars, they come off like the Long Island Expressway. Anybody know the Long Island Expressway? Like the boats, the biggest boats you've ever seen, biggest ships, the cars are pouring off. If they had cops, they'd give them speeding tickets. You never saw anything like that. They're going like 40 miles an hour off these boats, right into our economy. We get nothing, other than we close plants all over the place because they're taking our jobs. We get nothing. And you know what? I always say, how many Chevrolets are in the middle of Tokyo right now? I'll bet there isn't one in the whole country. So you look at Japan, it's going to stop. And we have all the power. See, Obama and these people, they don't know that we have the power. We have the power because we can say, sorry, can't do it anymore. Can't do it. We don't want your cars. Well, you know what? You'll buy American for a while. They'll be back. We almost did it 12 or 13 years ago. Do you remember? It was so egregious, but our president at the time chickened out, and he folded, and we lost. He almost did it, but he chickened out. Remember that? 13, 14 years ago with Japan. It's egregious. China's the most egregious. Think about this. Think about a Carl Icahn, or me, or somebody, working on the China deal and making it much better. So instead of $400 billion a year, would you love to break even? I mean, who wants to break even? Would you love to? Do you know what the difference? Do you have any idea? You saw the bad numbers that came out this morning, that we have virtually no growth. First quarter, we had no growth. We had negative growth. Now we're down to a little bit over 1%. You know what 1% is? If China does 7%, they're in like a major recession. All right? We have 1%. We're being led by people that don't get it. And it's so easy. And don't forget, never forget this. We have all the cards. They don't have the cards. They don't have the cards. We have single-handedly rebuilt China. You look at their roads, you look at their bridges. They built bridges bigger than the George Washington Bridge. It's like candy. They're all over the place. Where are we building? We happen to be building one in New York. Wait till you see what that sucker is going to cost. And they're building one in San Francisco. You know who's building it? The Chinese are building it, right? The Chinese are building the Bay Bridge. It's being built by the Chinese. Big cost overruns. Big, oh, they need Trump. I don't do cost overruns. Big cost overruns. You know what? Tremendous cost overruns. Somebody ought to look at, I saw the other day, massive. They're saying it's different, it's a little this, it's a little bit higher, a little bit this. We painted it a different color. You know, it was supposed to be blue, it's going to be pink, and it's going to cost $10 million more for the pink paint. I know all of it. Oh, I hear it all my life. I've been growing up with this stuff. So we're going to do things that are so good. We're going to cut all of the fat, the waste, and abuse. We're going to lower taxes so that corporations are now going to pay 15%. We're the highest taxed country in the world. And that's why today it was announced, I just have it here, it was announced that Pfizer, did you read about that deal? Pfizer is going to take one of our great companies out. Now, it's supposed to be not going to it's going to happen. They're going to take it out. Thousands and thousands of jobs. It's going to happen. Just right over here, it's a company called Allegra. Allergen. Did you ever hear of Allergen? I hear. Now, who knows? Maybe it's rumor. I don't think it's rumor. Rumors turn out to be true. You ever notice how many times rumors turn out to be true? Especially about your husbands. No, they never turn out. Those rumors never turn out to be true. Women, do they ever turn out to be true? Never, right? Never. But those rumors turn out to be true. And it's pretty bad. Oreos. The man mentions, I don't eat Oreos anymore. But they're moving from Chicago to Mexico. They're going to make Oreos now. Big plant. Closing it in Chicago. Why? Where does it help us, folks? Look at New England. All over New England, you see these factories that have left. Most of them have gone with NAFTA. Another great deal. Most of them have gone to Mexico, but they've gone. How does it help us? We are going to create jobs. I will be the greatest jobs president, and I say it, that God ever created. We have 93 million people in our workforce. Many of them want to work and they can't get a job. I mean, it's like incredible because our jobs are leaving. Our manufacturing's gone. Take a look at Caterpillar Tractor. Great company. You see the bad numbers on 2 days ago. Really bad numbers. They're not selling. The dollar now, the Chinese are so happy. They cut their dollar. They cut their currency. Japan cuts its yen. Japan's having a field day. They have a very smart leader. They're taking our business. Komatsu has taken all that tractor business. And we sit here with the strong dollar. And you know what the strong dollar is good for? It's good for a guy like me. You have a lot of dollars. But it's only good if I want to go to Europe and buy things. Or if I want to go to Asia and buy things. Then it's good. But how does that help us? It doesn't help us. We're not going to have any exporting pretty soon. And all of the the trade agreement is a disaster. And by the way, she says, no trade agreement. This new trade agreement, it doesn't mention the single greatest tool that they have to take advantage of us. And you know what that is, currency manipulation. And the greatest ever in history has been China. So we're going to change things, folks. And I said this the other day, and somebody said, well, that's a very severe. What China has done to us is the greatest theft in the history of the world. It's the greatest theft. We have, and Europe's helped a little bit, but we have done most of it. We have rebuilt China. The money and the jobs that they've sucked out of our country, we have rebuilt China. And we're going to reverse it. We're going to reverse it. So believe me, and you can count on it. All right. You can count on it. Let's take a couple of questions. Go ahead, sir. You have a microphone? Yeah, give him the mic right here. This guy, good guy. I think he's a good guy. You never know until after that. Come on, give him a mic. Where's the mic? Let's go. Okay.
I referred to the Lincoln-Douglas debates.
Right.
Why can't we get rid of the moderators and just have debates without moderators?
Well, you would think that, I guarantee you, these moderators are not big Republican voters. And I said that if we're having a Republican debate, maybe every moderator should show that they vote Republican. Because why should we have these people that hate everything we stand for? And I won't mention his name, but the questions were so nasty. So nasty. So why should we have these people? So it's something, honestly, you're right, it's something we can think about. Okay, next question. Give it to that woman right behind you.
What are you going to do about saving Social Security?
We're going to save Social Security. Believe me, we're going to save it. We're going to save it. And it's a great, you've been paying in there for a long time. Now they want to cut it and chop it up into a million pieces. Not going to happen, folks. We're going to save it. And we're going to save, and we're not going to let anything happen with the Second Amendment. Remember that. One other thing. I heard the beautiful name of Israel. Israel is safe with this one. Safe. So many friends in Israel, they don't know what happened. They have a president who they actually think Obama hates Israel. I think he does. This pact is so bad for Israel, so dangerous. We will save. I think Israel's in such a massive amount of trouble because of the agreement. I'm so glad you mentioned that. We will save Israel. Nothing bad is going to happen to Israel. Okay.
I have a statement.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
And I have a question about a rumor. Okay. I've been voting as a Democrat for 55 years.
So I think we've converted her, man.
Yes.
Have we converted you?
Yes, you bet. And I'm going to be
We've
voting
converted her. I love her.
Trump.
People are going to be amazed. A friend of mine from Los Angeles, very liberal guy, Democrat. People are going to be amazed. He said, you have no idea in LA how many people are going to vote for you that are liberal Democrats. They're tired of having their face shoved into the sidewalk, believe me.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
The rumor that I heard is that John Kerry's daughter married a physician in Iran.
Who's related to the negotiator.
And
That's what
Yeah,
I've
the
heard.
best man was the negotiator
Yeah.
for the Iran deal. Now, what's with that?
I heard that. I don't know if it's true. Hey, could you guys check that out in the press? Let the press check it out. Don't worry. Don't worry. If it's true, they will not report that. They'll report on it. Go ahead.
In one of your interviews, you said if you became president, you would not take the salary.
The what?
Your salary.
Yeah. I am not going to take a salary. That's an easy one. That's a real easy one.
Have you considered or thought of taking the money and giving it to the wounded warriors?
I would do that anyway. I already do it. No, the wounded warriors are our best people. I have a lot to do with the wounded. The wounded warriors are amazing people, so yeah, I would certainly do that. Okay, let's have one. Come on, let's go right here. Make it nice. Go ahead.
I'm a female small business owner.
Good.
Do you have any good plans for that agenda?
Small business?
Yes.
Lack of regulations. You're being regulated out of business. No. We'll be going back so many years on regulations. You know, the regulations are out of... I have friends that are small business owners. They can't survive. And not only that, they have inspectors who are outright nasty over nothing. They have no idea what's going on. They're going to lose their businesses. We're going back... I'll bet you we go back 15 years and we cut most of that stuff out, okay? All right, go ahead, young man.
There's no shortage of... There's no shortage of talented U.S. tech workers, yet we hook up Zuckerberg with cheap foreign labor. What will you do to lower H-1B quotas and put American college grads first?
Well, you know, that question was asked to me last night, but it was asked in a very crazy way. What I do want... very important, because we have to have, with great talent, when we have these students, number one at Harvard, number one at Yale, number one at Princeton, number one at Stanford, the best schools, they get thrown out of our country. I don't want them out. You understand that. I want them to go to Silicon Valley, et cetera, et cetera. With the workers you're talking about, before anybody can come in, because the question was asked, I was talking about Harvard, Yale, Princeton, and Stanford last night, and the question was asked about the visas. We have to make sure our people are working first. We have to make sure. I don't mind taking people at all, but we have to make sure we need them, and we have to make sure that our people are taken care of. So important. Okay, go ahead.
What are you going to do for legalizing marijuana if people are willing to follow all of the rules 100%? Legally, federally, and with
the marijuana thing is such a big thing. I think medical should happen, right? Don't we agree? I mean, I think so. And then I really believe you should leave it up to the states. It should be a state situation. Because, you know, you have, like I just left Colorado, and I love Colorado, and the people are great, but there's a question as to how it's all working out there. You know, that's not going exactly trouble-free. So I really think that we should study Colorado, see what's happening, but I believe that the legalization of marijuana, other than for medical, because I think medical, you know, I know people that are very, very sick, and for whatever reason, the marijuana really helps them. But it really helps them. But I think in terms of marijuana, and legalization, I think that should be a state issue, state by state. Good question. Go ahead, over here.
Thank you for coming to Reno, Mr. Trump.
Thank you. Thank you. I love Reno. Been here many times.
Would you consider a woman for your vice presidential running mate, and if so, who are you considering?
A woman? That's interesting, Carson. It's a lot of people think. He is a... Do you notice how well we get along? It's great. It's great. We get along very well. We're laughing at each other last night. We're winking at each other. I would absolutely consider a woman, but it's too soon to be talking about. Too soon. It's too soon to be talking about it right now. You know, we got to get the job done. I don't want to be talking about vice president. We got to we have to get the job done. And that's why in February, whatever your date is, what is it, February 28th, whatever that date is, you got to get out there, you got to vote, or it's not going to happen, and that would be so bad, so bad. You got to go out, you got to vote. You know, I've seen a lot of people, there's energy, there's a certain energy. I've never seen energy like this. I've had I've had professionals, pundits, all these political people say they've never seen energy in a campaign like what we have. Look at all these people. They've never seen the energy. So, but, come our date, you got to get out and you got to make sure you vote. Otherwise, look at last time. People thought there wasn't a lot of energy, I'll be honest. I don't understand why there wasn't, but it was sad what happened. But a lot of people didn't vote. People talking about this and that. The fact is, a lot of people that you would have always thought would have voted, they never voted. If those people voted, you would have won the election. They didn't vote. We can't let that happen again. Hey, I supported McCain. Now, he had a hard time because what was happening was pretty tough. I'd say Abraham Lincoln maybe couldn't have done it. I supported Romney, and he let us down. He just let us down because that was an election that should have been won. So I supported McCain, I supported Romney, and now I'm saying, the hell with it. I'm doing it myself. We're going to do it, okay? We're going to do it. I love you all. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. I love you.
We will make America great again.